deep in an underground secret Pacific Island lair, Pop Culture Minefield presents Saturday Morning Funtime. This is the Comic Relief Crusader telling you to get your morning cereal ready, because here we go.
Hey guys, happy Saturday. Oh boy. Tom is on his way here. I talked to him on the phone. So we're just going to sit and chit chat for a minute, I guess. Make a decision on all the other things that are going to be going on, because our schedule is going to change on Saturdays to make life easier for Tom. So he will be doing the show with me every alternating Saturday. And the alternating Saturday he's not here, he's going to be doing Salty Nerds. And but on those Saturdays, it'll just be a regular Saturday morning fun time. Today we're doing a special one because this was by request for Tom, which is, of course, Beverly Hills Cop with what's that guy? Edward Murrow?
Eddie Murphy.
Murphy. Yeah, he did something like Saturday Night Live or something. He was popular in the 80s.
Sure about that?
Yeah. Yeah, he was on WWE Raw,
WWE Raw. If I did WWE Raw, it would be like sushi. I wouldn't want to wrestle anybody. I'd go up in the ring and just be eating, raw fish. I will never eat raw fish, by the way. That is so gross. It's like, that's a great way to get encephalitis, man. And Craig, who used to be one of the producers on the show, that's what happened to his brother. And I've had two friends here in Springfield that ate bad or tainted raw fish at a sushi bar, and both got encephalitis. The other one recovered fully. The other one still has medical problems after 20 years.
Well, that's why I prefer tempura over.
Tempura is better. I also do like what is it called? California rolls that has the cooked fish in it. I like those. I do not like anything with raw meat in it. I won't eat raw. The closest thing to is red meat that I'll eat rare to medium rare. The rest of it is you just asking for trouble.
Well, medium rare used to be my steak of choice, but now I've got to go for well done, unfortunately.
Because of your diet?
Yeah.
Why? Well, I'm just curious. What was their reasoning?
Oh, because the raw meat is harder to digest than the cooked.
Gotcha. Takes longer. I guess that's why they said that John Wayne had like a pound of undigested beef in his colon when he died. I don't believe that. I call bullshit on that, but I've always loved that story. Slasher Fred, I've never seen Beverly Hills Cop before. I understand it's an action movie. I went to high school with that guy underneath John there. That's Judge Reinhold. He was a senior when I was a freshman at James Monroe High School in Fredericksburg, Virginia. And we were all blown away when he became a star. We're like, hey, man, we knew him. It was really cool. I love this movie.
What has become of him? Because I haven't heard of him for a while.
Well, he's in the new Beverly Hill Cops movie.
Yeah, coming out. They had that failed one, and Tom and I were going to talk about that because he shared the pilot, the unaired pilot for the Eddie Murphy, kind of co-starring as himself or as Axel Foley. And the show is about his son, and it was not very good. It was not.
Look at this. Brandon has become a YouTube member.
I thought he already was one. Okay. I thought you were already a member. That I bet you they did that thing to him, where if he let it lapse, I think that's rude. I'm thinking about trying to do some other stuff through Patreon, so that shit doesn't happen. I don't like that they do that to people. So Monkey is here. What's up, Monkey? How you doing? Answer is no. I've never even heard of freshwater sushi. Is there such a thing?
You're not supposed to eat freshwater fish raw.
Never heard of that. I've only And I don't eat anything raw. I never have. I remember I took Zoe to the and sashimi is raw. Sushi's not raw, right?
No, sushi's raw.
Sushi is raw. What is it called when it's not raw?
Oh, it's tempura.
It's tempura. I thought tempura was the fried.
Is tempura the fried?
Yeah, tempura is the fried.
Then sashimi is.
Sashimi is raw. Sushi, I think, is technically cooked. It's like what I eat. I just I like California rolls with wasabi sauce and soy, and that shit's the bomb diggity yo. Tom is here in the chat. Tom, join the show. Join the show. We watched. Was that the same trailer, John, or was that a different trailer that we saw today?
That was the same one.
Okay, same one. I'm telling you that the last voyage of the Demeter is going to be a good movie. That trailer is amazing to watch.
Sushi is when it's mixed like in a roll, California roll or whatever.
Yeah, that's what I have.
Sashimi is just the raw fish when it's all separate ingredients.
Okay. I like it when it's mixed in with the seaweed and rice with the avocado and all that stuff. And then, oh man, but it's got to be cooked. I won't eat it raw. I will not eat it raw. Vegetables are fine to eat raw, but certain ones, I like broccoli, cauliflower. Every once in a while, I like snap peas raw. They're really good. I went to high school on a bunch of TV shows.
Yeah, and Buffy, at least.
Oh. So let's see who's all here, man. Oh, your PC's being slow? No worries. No worries. Let's see. We got who else here? Brandon, Anima, Love of My Life, Monkey Jeebus, Penny. Let's see. Pat is here. Gumby, damn it. He said Gumby, damn it. Slasher Fred is here, and Veritax is here. So, morning, guys. Happy Saturday.
Oh, and Eclay Thomason is here.
Oh, Eclay is here? Eclay Thomason?
Yeah,
there he is.
Just arrived. Andy Morrow.
Yeah, Andy's here. It's almost like he's never gone because he constantly sends me stuff. He sends some great photos, though, man. I love some of the pictures he sends. He sent one today with Laurel and Hardy, with Jimmy Durante, and the great silent movie star. Did all his own stunts.
Buster Keaton.
Hey, thank you, Brandon. Brandon has gifted 5 Pop Culture Minefield memberships.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Nice. How come I'm not seeing that?
And here's the man of the hour.
Hey, Tom.
Tom! I'm going to put you over here. That way it's Tom and Gerry.
Sorry, my PC is running really slow right now.
That's why I'm so anti-PC.
Good morning, everybody. I know, right?
Good morning, Tom.
So I was going to bring up because you shared with me the that unaired pilot.
Yeah.
Which there was some stuff in there I enjoyed, but man, once they got to that house with the husband and wife scene, they lost me with that scene.
Believe it or not, I still haven't watched it. I have it. I just haven't watched it.
Yeah, I watched it right after you sent it to me.
I wanted to. I just haven't got around to it yet. I plan on doing something with it. Yeah, I plan on doing something with it when Beverly Hills Cop 4 is about to come out. So hopefully we'll.
How long we got for that? What's the word on that?
I think it's supposed to be out later this year. If not, I got to remember. I got to look. I know they're done shooting it already, I think.
That's good. That's good. It'll be nice if he gets back to his roots and actually puts some heart into it. Because like you said, the problem with Beverly Hills Cop 3 was he wasn't trying to be funny anymore. He's trying to be serious. and it kind of let the air out of the balloon. Tom? Tom?
Yeah, I'm looking for a date here for part 4.
This says that no date's been set.
Yeah.
It might be in the 2023 release schedule, but according to a report by the Ankler, it won't be released until 2024.
Yeah, I know most of the original cast is back, but this time it's about a daughter instead of a son, so we'll see.
Are they still all alive?
Pretty much. Ronnie Cox, John Ashton.
Well, Ronnie Cox, I thought his character got killed.
No, he's still alive.
Is in the show? I mean, in the movie, I thought he got.
No, he lived.
Killed.
He lived at the end of part 2.
Okay, because I remember he got shot.
He was shot, but he was in a bed through the whole movie. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He wasn't in part 3, and neither him or John Ashton were.
But they're bringing them back.
Yeah,
and once again, I want to point out
a cameo, but yeah,
I'm happy to see Judge Reinhold getting work again, because he was just gone for a long time because of his politics not mixing well in Hollywood. And in fact, I think probably the only reason he got hired is because I think Eddie Murphy likes him.
Well, I mean, he was a hot commodity for a while, but then in the 90s, it seemed like he kind of
in the 90s he did Vice Versa, and that was sort of like the beginning of the end of his regular acting career. But he'd appear stuff like he was in the Santa Claus with.
Didn't he have a cameo in the show that I sent you?
I don't remember seeing him in that.
Because I thought he and the kid were supposed to be the main leads of the show, but I guess that might not have been.
No, I just remember that Eddie meets up with him halfway through the show, and you discover, he's Axel's son.
Yeah, he's Axel's son. But I thought Judge Reinhold was supposed to be in the show too.
I'll go back and watch it because I don't remember.
He might not have been in the pilot, but like that was the initial when they had set it up, was like
he would partner with him.
Judge Reinhold, yeah,
that would have been awesome. But he did that movie Vice Versa, and that kind of like we saw the decline. That was right around the time of The Shadow when it came out. So I saw both of them in the same theater.
Vice Versa came out in like 88.
Was it? I thought it was in the 90s.
Yeah, no, because I remember seeing it on Showtime when I was a kid.
Then I'm confusing another film for it.
Maybe. I mean, he had a few movies there, but then they all were kind of like, yeah.
Man. But I'm looking forward to this film. So what have you heard? Anything on him like putting more heart into it?
I was feeling good about it until I heard about the plot, which sounds like it's going to be about Axel being a mostly absent father. And his son-in-law gets kidnapped or something like that. So he has to help his daughter. Yeah.
Oh, this sounds horrible.
Yeah, it doesn't sound too promising.
Another deadbeat dad.
That was my first thought.
Yeah, destruction of the patriarchy.
And they didn't even think about the stereotype.
Oh yeah, the stereotype of the because you know this as well as I do. This is one of the things that made Chris Rock famous, was when he went on TV and criticized black fathers feeling that they needed to be clapped on the back when they stuck around. He says, "That's your damn job." You remember that? He was on Oprah when he did that. He's like, "It's your damn job. Why do you need to get clapped on the back for doing your job?" Even though I'm like, every dad should be clapped on the back for doing their job, but okay. But he made it.
Actually, I think it was in one of his. It was in one of his acts too. He's like, take care of my kids. It's like, you're supposed to.
It's a damn job. So, but this movie, let's go back to this one. This came out after 48 Hours, right? 48 Hours was his big break.
Yep. Actually, I think this even followed Best Defense, which wasn't.
Oh yeah, with Arthur, what's his name? Dudley Moore.
Yeah.
God, yeah, that was.
Because believe it or not, even though most people associate this movie with summer, it didn't come out till Christmas of '84.
Was this a Christmas movie? I don't remember
because
that.
it technically is the highest grossing movie of 84, but it grossed most of its money in 85.
No shit. Wow. Man, so did he get this like based off of the popularity of 48 Hours, or was this something that was already planned?
Oh, so you don't even know the history of this movie?
No, I don't know much of the history.
Okay, so it was actually first written in the early 80s by Donald Petrie. And the idea was that, I can't remember the producer's name, but he had gotten pulled over by a Beverly Hills police department. And he and his wife noticed how each one of the men, the two gentlemen that pulled him over, were like basically like models. Like they were just like perfect looking gentlemen and like, you know, like you would see on TV kind of thing.
Right.
So they're like, what would happen if like somebody from like, say, oh, I don't know, Detroit came in and just fucked with these guys real bad. And that was kind of the kernel of the, you know, they're this perfectly oiled machine and you have this cog come in and just kind of mess up the whole, you know, workings. And initially it was just supposed to be about a cop coming and getting a job from Detroit in LA. And a bunch of different people were attached to it. I can't remember exacts offhand, but the one that finally stuck was Sylvester Stallone. So this movie almost had Sylvester Stallone in it. In fact, it was cast for Sylvester Stallone. So all the cast that was put in place, they were hired to make the next Sylvester Stallone movie.
No shit.
No shit. And the movie got so close to production that I believe I can't remember if it was the producer, one of the producers, or the director just couldn't see eye to eye with Sly. Because Sly was coming in and changing everything. He was making it a Sylvester Stallone movie.
Action. Right.
Yeah, he's like, you know, he wanted it to be more about like he was this super cop in Detroit named Axel Cobretti. So he could be called the Motor City Cobra. Can you see where this is going?
Yeah. I see exactly where it's going.
So he had all these ideas that he brought to the table, and when they seen they weren't going to see eye to eye, he took all his ideas and went and made Cobra. And then they reverted the script back to a comedy, and they got Eddie Murphy. Because at that time, like you said, Eddie Murphy was hot off of, you know, 48 hours and Trading Places, and he was just off of Saturday Night Live. So this was his launch pad. And this movie sent Eddie Murphy into the stratosphere. It arguably made him the biggest actor in the 80s, if you don't count Harrison Ford because of Indiana Jones and Star Wars.
Yeah, because Harrison Ford in the 80s was the highest paid actor all the way into the 90s.
But Eddie Murphy was actually the biggest star if you think about it, because the only reason he had the most box office, Harrison Ford, was, I just said, the last two Star Wars films and the Indiana Jones films. Right? If you take the Star Wars films out of there, it'd be hard for Harrison to beat Eddie, you know, because if you argue that, you know, Harrison Ford isn't technically the reason people went to see Star Wars. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like at that point, Eddie Murphy's flops in the 80s were still hits. Like Golden Child is considered a flop. Still made money. A lot of money, actually. It was just wasn't. It was.
And this one I want to bring on Saturday too, because
I love Golden Child.
Favorites. Yep.
And that was another one that was meant for somebody else that eventually became an Eddie Murphy vehicle. But yeah,
give us the knife, please.
Yeah,
he's gonna wipe that on your jacket there. Cut yourself.
I laugh so hard at that movie. It's one of my favorite films of his. He calls him Lumpsy, right? The devil.
Lumpsy.
He starts calling that. It was so funny. And that was the first thing I ever saw Charles dance in. I became a fan of his because of that movie. God, that guy's still kicking ass. But
no, but then you got Martin Brest who comes in and like I said, they reverted the script back to fit Eddie. And then Eddie just improvised a lot of the fast talking, you know, Eddie Murphyisms. And
did
it's
he
funny
do a lot of that with this movie too?
Well, yeah, that's what I mean. Like a lot of it was just him just improvising,
riffing,
a lot of it and riffing. Like the Super Cop scene is one of the most famous ones because the guys had to like pinch themselves and stuff not to laugh. Like if you watch their faces, Judge and their faces are red as hell because they're trying not to laugh because Eddie has them just at the point where they had no idea he was going to do all this stuff. Because that scene specifically, it was like late at night, and they shot this, and I can't remember what kind of building it was. I think it was like a school or something in California. I'd have to look it up specifically, but like, so they're sitting there in the building, and like it's like 2, 3 in the morning. Eddie at that time was a straight edge guy, and for those who don't know what that means he wouldn't drink, wouldn't do drugs, wouldn't smoke, wouldn't even drink coffee, wouldn't drink soda, nothing but like, you know, natural straight stuff. So like he's like falling asleep, and then Eddie, they're like, Eddie, you got to try some coffee or something to get up here. He's like, all right, give me a cup of coffee. So he had never had coffee before, and he drank and slammed a big bunch of California coffee. So that scene is the result of him on a caffeine high, just going. And supposedly that's the story anyway. Yeah.
That shit's crazy.
Well, it's like the Super Cop thing is all made up by him.
The what one was?
The Super Cop thing. These guys are not like regular cops. They're like super cops. They need capes and shit.
You got the film strip ready?
Yes.
Alrighty. Let's cue that up, man. And what I like doing on here is just sort of like going over stuff that happens in the film, in the scene, and we go, we get to see some of the stuff. Like this whole opening scene was so freaking funny to me because I wasn't sure what the hell he was at first, if he was an actual cop, because he's in like did you hit play, Martin?
Well, right.
There we go. Because like we're in the middle of a cigarette deal. Yeah. Which this scene always reminds me of one of the scenes in Freebie and the Bean. And so he's like this guy, and I couldn't figure out what is he doing. And he's a buyer, right? He's supposed to be buying these cigarettes off these guys. Is that what was going on?
No, he's selling them.
He's selling them.
And this is a really funny scene. If you've ever seen the TV version of this movie, like 80% of it is alternate takes. Because they knew there was no way they were going to be able to edit this for television.
Right.
So they actually had Eddie go in and do clean takes. And what's funny is the TV version does not have the same energy the other movie does. Because you can tell when he was doing those clean takes, it must have been at the end of the line. Right. And like, he does not have the energy he does here in this version of the movie. Like, you could probably find some scenes out on YouTube to see for reference. But like, yeah, they're completely different takes. Because, they knew they were never going to be able to clean up all the F words and stuff. Tell me, fellas, what's going on here? Shit, I'm a businessman.
Now, his best friend, I'm trying to remember, that's, what is his name? Is it Ray Sharkey that plays his best friend? Eddie Murphy's?
I think so. That sounds about right. He was in a lot of TV shows and stuff.
Yeah, a lot of TV shows. He was one of the early deaths from AIDS.
Yeah, I think he was also like in Miami Vice and some other stuff like that. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And he gets killed by one of my favorite tough guys in movies. Well, plays Mike in Breaking Bad.
Yeah, he was a guy who came into movies, I believe. Wasn't he like a CIA or something like that? Former, and then like he started as a consultant, I believe.
Something like that.
Ever since. Yeah.
But this scene is goes south when the cops show up, the actual cops.
Yeah. Don't I know you?
Don't I know you? Yeah, I know.
No, that's not me. I'm somebody else. I'm from Buffalo.
Getting made by the cops as a cop.
Because he's not even supposed to be doing this. That's the other bit.
We have a super sticker.
Hey, Six is here.
Hi, Six.
Yeah, because he's doing an undercover bust with no backup, no clearance. He took a truck from another bust. Like, that's the whole setup here. So it's to show that he's, kind of a loose cannon, a bit of a...
Exactly, the classic
lone wolf.
Hero cop lone wolf. You're a loose cannon!
This feels more like $2,000 to me, okay? This is like a $5,000 thing.
Yeah, $5,000. I love that classic 70s looking light on top of the car, the bubble. Just, it looks like a rent-a-cop, not a real cop.
You see the truck? It just stopped, man. It just stopped. You got some jumper cables or something? Give me a jump. No, that ain't me, man. I'm from Buffalo. Oh yeah, this is a very early '80s film for sure.
And and of course it leads to the which it's
Pointer
Aretha
Sisters
Franklin, right?
chase. No, this is a Pointer Sisters one.
Pointer Sisters.
Neutron Dance, which, believe it or not, was like a song buried, I think, on one of their earlier albums, and wasn't a hit until this movie. Like, that's the thing. This movie, I mean, talk about soundtracks in the '80s. This is the year before Top Gun, but in reality, I think this one actually probably had more hits than Top Gun or movies like Flashdance did. People forget about that. Because this had Heat Is On, Neutron Dance, New Attitude, Stir It Up, Axel F as a single its own. Right there's
Harold Faltermeyer, right?
Yep, and right there's 5, and I think there's at least 1 or 2 more I'm not thinking of offhand. I can't imagine why, I can't remember now, but there was a lot of singles off this one. Second one is a big soundtrack too.
Yep.
Yeah, you're right. These cop cars do look like they just slap the stuff on the side. Like they're not even real.
Like,
Foley, we should have known.
You're not even trying to make them look like cop cars. He just takes off running.
At least they get him. Like, that's the thing, is I think they don't get the one guy, but they get him. So, I mean, they can't bitch at him too much. He did get a bust, at least. Don't they get the other guy? I think they do, because I think they grab it.
Yeah.
It's just the one that he sold, or was trying to sell it to, got away. And he runs into him, of course, in the beginning of the second film.
Oh, he does? I don't remember that.
Yeah.
Oh,
You're the
Paul
guy
Reiser.
from the truckload of cigarettes.
Paul,
I thought
Paul
that was
Reiser
you, man.
was in this, dude.
Yeah,
I remember that now. Yeah.
You almost got busted. I did get busted. Yeah, Paul Reiser's great. And this is one of his earlier bits, too.
Yeah, this is where he got his big break.
This is not my office.
That is not my office. Oh, man, I like this scene.
Your buddy Mario Andretti wrecked the damn Ferrari.
In fact, the guy who plays his captain is an actual Detroit cop.
Yeah, he was actually the mayor of Detroit for a long time after, because he got, popular because of the films. And then he went from being a chief to, I can't remember if he got another, somewhere in between there, and then he became mayor a couple of years later, like 10 years after the fact. And I think he served as mayor till his death, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, and he died, I think, in office.
That's what I'm saying, yeah, because they killed his character in the third film, but he's only in it for a short bit. But that might have been the one you were thinking of before the show, or we were talking about here before in the show. Because yeah, his boss gets killed in part 3.
That might be it. It's been so long since I've seen any of them. I own these films, and it's like I hardly ever break them out to watch. But I'm glad you brought this one up, because it just I had to watch. His
boss's last words are, "What are you, Axel, on a coffee break? Go get that son of a bitch."
Oh man,
he has to tell his wife that. It's like, yeah, his last words were about you. I don't believe that. Yeah, you're right. His last words, you on a coffee break, go get the son of a bitch. That sounds more like him.
Oh man,
I'm not listening to Jeffrey, but he is still talking. Is that fucking Foley in here?
Oh yeah, here we go.
Oh shit.
And he just looks like a cop. It's
Man
sort
just
of
called
like,
the chief. The chief just called me.
There's something about cops, man, playing cops. Like Farina had the look of a cop when he played a cop, and then it's like, oh shit, he was a real cop. That's why he
This
looks
is
like
not
a
my
cop.
locker. That's what he says. Not my office. It's my locker. But I think he does.
Oh
the
god,
office.
yeah, this is great.
He does the office bit in the second film. It is, yeah.
This is not my office.
See, that's the thing with the first two films. They are almost so close. Like as a kid, I don't remember
a lot of the
watching
same jokes.
Well,
Yep.
I don't remember watching the first and second film not together half the time. Like it was just they were always around as a kid.
Which one do you think's better, this film or 48
clearly
Hours?
the first. Oh, well, 48 Hours compared to this movie.
Yeah.
I like 48 Hours a lot, but
this one's definitely more fun.
this is up there with my favorite films of all time. Like there was one year I'm surprised my dad wouldn't be sick of this movie by now because I watched it like every summer, every day. Or this one summer, every day, I mean. Deputy Chief
Man.
just chewed my ass out.
One of the things I remember from this, and I've done it so many times, is his gay guy voice. I've done it so many times.
Victor.
And what was the other one he does in this one? Well, first of all, I made the joke for you and me because of the whole backdoor thing with me. I put the whole "ain't no banana up at our tailpipes." That's a classic from this movie. Never even heard of that before. I didn't know that was a real thing. Putting a banana in.
Somebody said they tried it. I'm like, well, did it work? And they're like, no, but I only put one in there. I'm like, well, that's the trick. You got to put one more than one in there. Like, yeah, I just shot right out. Like, that's where he puts a whole bunch in there. And actually, I think it was supposed to be a potato because that's what we used to do when we were kids.
Yeah, you stick a big potato in there and
because that's the whole thing. Yeah, because it has to block it.
Yeah.
Oh, 84 was a huge year for movies.
Yeah, you're cutting off the exchange in the engine by doing that, and it just conks it out.
I didn't know that Mythbusters did that Shinatsky, but yeah, I already knew that just from when we were kids. Like, because we're like, that don't work. You need a potato. Don't fuck with me, Axel. Not now.
And then this is where we meet his old buddy, right? Ray Sharkey.
And this is where I've created like a little bit of backstory in my head because they don't really give you any backstory to these characters. But like, I've always given myself this backstory that Axel and this guy, were punk kids growing up. And he got busted when they were kids, stood up for Axel. And then Axel got like a second chance from somebody, possibly even the chief of police. Saw that he was a good kid, got him involved in the police academy. Because people also forget how young Eddie Murphy is here, even though he's playing like 26, 27. He's only like 21 when he made this movie. He was really young. People forget how young he was when he started on Saturday Night Live, too. He was the youngest cast member ever until like, actually, I think Anthony Michael Hall was the only one who was younger than him, if I remember right.
And I got to be honest, man. He's one of the funniest guys to ever come from SNL.
Well, he seemed like he just came out fully formed, right? Like, it just didn't seem like there was much of a gestation period for Eddie Murphy. It was just like he was there. He was like, he's everything you see him. He didn't have to kind of catch up, get a break here or there. Like when 48 Hours hit, he was the hottest thing on SNL at the time. It was, he was the only thing on SNL at the time, really, if you think about it, outside of Joe Pescopo. But I mean, still at that point, you didn't need anything more than Eddie Murphy.
Right.
I mean, he was somebody who just demanded presence and he could control an entire film. And here's your proof, right? Like, this is the biggest film of this year up against movies. You stop and think about the movies that came out in 84, and this movie outgrossed Ghostbusters, Gremlins, Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, just to name 3 that came out in 84 that this movie outgrossed.
Yeah.
And this by far is your favorite year too, as I recall.
Oh yeah, my favorite year film because there's just so many movies between. I mean, just even some of the lower level stuff that came out, people still remember.
Yeah, like mine was 82, and you and I talked about this before because when you were doing that the 80s thing with us, we're going to do it again. We're going to do the whole thing over again because I feel like we can get it better. Just to break down each year of that decade. And like for me, it was 82, you were 84, and I can't remember what Andre was, 80, 85, 87, something like that for him.
He might have been 84 as well.
84 as well. I just know that those 2 years in that entire decade had some of the best stuff.
Yeah, pretty much 82, 84, and 89 were 3 of the biggest years ever.
Yeah, for Batman, exactly.
Well, not only did you have Batman in 89, you had Back to the Future 2, Ghostbusters 2, like you said, Batman. There's quite a few others. Even UHF, which flopped at the theaters, people still love as a cult classic. So
it is a cult classic. I love that movie. I'm a big
Lethal Weapon 2 also came out in 89. That's the other one I was trying to remember. I'm like, there was another big one I'm trying to think of. Yeah, 82 was a big year, but 82 was a big year for films that didn't do great at the box office, but became
classics,
cult classics later on, like John
like
Carpenter's
The
films
Thing
and The
and
Thing and
Blade Runner both came
Blade
out
Runner.
the same month.
Both flopped
they were
in theaters,
both,
but did very well on video later.
Well,
yeah.
they couldn't compete with E.T. E.T. just ate up all the box office.
Poltergeist did.
What month did it come out?
Poltergeist, I think, came out 2 weeks after E.T., if I remember right.
Wow.
But
the only reason it survived
dominated,
The only reason it survived is because it had a different audience. It was in more of an adult audience where
it was basically E.T. with horror movie, basically, element to it, yeah.
I almost wish in some ways, because I hate the movie E.T. I really do hate it. I wish they had made the horror film they had originally set out to make. I would have liked it.
Yeah. 83 is okay. There's a couple of movies in 83, but nothing to the extent of like 84 and 82.
E.T. killed the Atari 2600.
Well, it did its part anyway, yeah.
Yeah.
But I seen Monkey ask about Robin Williams. Robin Williams was big, but he's never been on the level of like huge A-list star. The biggest point in Robin Williams' career had to be the early 90s.
Yeah.
Like between Aladdin and Mrs. Doubtfire, or like that era of Robin
Good Morning
Williams.
Vietnam.
Yeah, after that, basically. When he started getting notice for Oscars and all that stuff. Good Will Hunting, all that era, yeah. Probably from, about that on. 88 to about 96, somewhere in there probably.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Maybe 98. I don't know. He made quite so many movies in the 90s. Like, Robin Williams made a lot of movies in the 90s.
Yeah, Return of the Jedi came out in 83.
Yeah, and that was a dominant film for that year. That's what I mean, like, yeah. 86 was a big year, too. That had, like, Top Gun and a few others. Aliens.
Oh, there he is. This guy just was born to play tough guys.
Yeah. Well, 'cause...
And I think, because like 48 Hours also had some serious aspects to it.
Oh, yeah.
This felt more grounded.
Well, both. I think if it wasn't for 48 Hours, I don't know if Eddie would have been ready for a movie like this, because the thing about 48 Hours is the comedy in 48 Hours came directly out of the characters, right? Mm. This is similar to that, but Eddie is kind of the main through line, right? Like, he doesn't have anybody to really bounce off of until the last half of the film when he's got Taggart and Rosewood, right? So it's a lot of just Eddie doing Eddie things, and it's kind of like they really got this idea of, this guy can do characters, and he can kind of just finagle his way through this world, even though he's not supposed to be there. And that gimmick really kind of made this film. And I don't know if it really made it unique, I think, at the time. I mean, I know we've had a dozen movies like this since then with the whole fish out of water kind of thing. But to me, Beverly Hills Cop is unique in a sense that, like you said before, Gary, most people think, oh, is he pretending to be a cop, or what's the gimmick here? No, he's a cop. He's going to figure out who killed his buddy. And it all leads back to California. And when he gets there, it's like this, what he's up against there is so different from what he's used to, but he still uses his streetwise ways to navigate this world.
Yep, and it is the fish out of water thing. It's two things: fish out of water and revenge.
Kind of, yeah. Well, and of course, you got to remember this comes out of the era of the Revenge-O-Matic pictures too, right? Like, if this would have been a Clint Eastwood or Sylvester Stallone movie, like you said, it would have just been a straightforward revenge flick.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And the nice thing is he connects with somebody from high school, the girl. He meets
and
Serge.
That's where I had to figure out my own little backstory. That's what I was saying before, is like those two knew each other, him and those, she knew the boys and all that kind of stuff. She got the fuck out of Detroit. Mikey went to probably juvie. Eddie got a second chance and he became a cop. So like I see their little backstory kind of in my mind. I mean, I don't know if that's accurate, but that's the way I've always kind of figured it, because they don't really give you anything about their relationship. And in the original script, Jenny was supposed to be a romantic interest, but it was Eddie who was like, why don't we not do that? Why does, because plus if you start to think about it, if they would have slowed this movie down just to have those two have a romance, how different the movie would be.
Yeah, it would,
because she was
it would
supposed to
lose
end
a
up
lot
with
of the energy that it had.
yeah, she was supposed to end up with Sly in the Sylvester Stallone version.
Yeah. I think it's better the way they did it because it absolutely would have lost its pacing as a story.
Exactly.
Because you have to stop the story in order to do those things.
And I think she's perfect as is now because she facilitates what she needs to do. She's the connection, right?
Clearly they care about each other, but
they knew each other since they were kids. Exactly. Yeah.
And I love also Bronson Pinchot got his break here playing Surge.
Oh God, Surge. We haven't even got to that part yet, but talk about a breakout role for a guy. Holy Christ.
He is so freaking funny in this movie. And I got to be honest, I'm not a big fan of the TV show that he did.
Perfect Strangers?
Perfect Strangers. I think the first season was fun, and then I just lost interest in it after that. Oh, my God. I like this part.
Is this place expensive? Not for Beverly Hills.
Not for Beverly Hills. That's a great line. I love that.
Can you get your bags for you? That's my bag in the front there.
I've been there a few times. It's nice. I've been on Rodeo Drive, all that shit. That place is gorgeous. The people are ridiculous.
The Beverly Hills Hotel? Perfect. Is it even still there? I don't even know.
Oh, I don't think that one's there anymore. That's a good question. And that's her, right?
Her who?
Isn't that his old friend?
No, you're getting ahead of yourself.
Oh, am I?
He's just checking into the hotel right now. This is where I use the whole Rolling Stones article bit. I'm here in town to write an article about Michael Jackson called Michael Jackson Sitting on Top of the World, but it might as well be called Michael Jackson Sitting on Top of the World as long as it's at the Beverly Hills Palms Hotel because ain't no net loud in there.
It's still there.
Yeah, if it's the same one.
It is. I'm looking at it right now in the photos. That's the same one. Holy smokes, still there. That's kind of nice in a modern day where stuff gets torn down so quickly. People
and the funny callback to this is Eddie Murphy had a interview with Rolling Stone early in the year, and the article was called Eddie Murphy Sitting on Top of the World.
Actually, it's the Millennium Biltmore is the hotel it used in the movie.
So it's not even the Beverly Palm.
Nope.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. It's got the Arc de Triomphe look at the front. If you see it in its full.
$235.
And that's still there too.
Yep. It's
shit,
gorgeous.
That's pennies now. $235. I bet you it's 5-6 times that now to spend a night there.
Yeah, you probably. I'm going to go look at it. Millennium Biltmore Hotel, Beverly Hills. Prices.
I bet you they're $1,000 a night.
No, 200 deluxe room, 212.
Holy shit!
Then they're a rundown Roach Motel now. Then yeah.
Oh, the Michael Jackson joke here is so fucking funny. I told people which we're going to end up doing our Eddie Murphy impressions. Watching this.
Yeah, I am Serge.
Oh my God, this is great.
I make you a little espresso. I make it right back there.
He looks just like the statue. And so when he's looking at the statue and the real Serge shows up, it's like the visual
I'm
gag.
Fine. My name is Serge.
And wasn't it in what? Didn't he reprise the role in another film?
Part 3. Yeah,
it seems like he did it in another film, not part of the franchise.
Well, that's the thing is Bronson Pinchot was really well known for these kind of roles. Like if you needed somebody who would just do some weird accent, that was your guy. Because that's the thing. Like this character has no origin. Like he said that the whole inspiration
his accent
for
makes no sense.
Yeah, the inspiration for it was like you go into these art galleries and places in California, and there's always these quasi effeminate men who are obviously probably gay, but still that part doesn't matter. But he's like, but you can't tell where they're from. He's like, are they Eastern European? Are they Spanish? Are they French? You just can't tell. They're like a hodgepodge of something. He's like, and if you ask them where they're from, they're like, yeah, I'm usually from like the Upper West Side or some shit. You know, like they're never from any. They never say specifically where they're from. So he's just like, he's not mimicking any specific, language here or anything like. Which is why I think it was so stupid when they tried to make him and Fisher Stevens apologize for these kind of roles. It's like, leave them alone. These guys were gods when it came to that kind of stuff. It's like if you needed a weirdo with an accent, those were your guys, right? Like,
yeah.
There is somebody doing a job. If you want to get mad at anybody, get mad at the executives that set that stuff up and hired them.
Well, and I think Bronson's supposed to be in part 4, at least a cameo. So,
by the way, Beverly Hills Hotel is $16.15 a night.
That's what I think he's supposed to be at. Yeah, that's what they call it.
Yeah, he does make an appearance in Beverly Hills Cop, the TV pilot.
Oh, yep. Bronson does?
Yeah.
Oh, well, that'll be at least a surprise.
He was.
I gotta watch that yet.
And that might be where I'm thinking of that I saw it again.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
That is
because he was in part 3 as well. Him and Donnie were. That's where he gets that big fucking gun from in part 3. The Annihilator or whatever it is.
Right. What year did that come out? 93, 94?
Part 3, 94.
Yeah, here it is. Beverly Hills Cop 3. And yep, he reprised his role as Surge. Oh, man.
Yeah, Short Circuit's a good one, too.
Oh, I forgot. He's in True Romance.
Bronson? Yeah, he's the... that's one of the few times he plays like a straight role.
Straight role, that's right.
Yeah, he's like the guy who's in the middle of the drug bust deal. Because he gets himself picked up by the cops or whatever.
Deliveries. When he meets, is it Maitland, I think is the bad guy, right? Is it Maitland?
Yeah, right here. Victor Maitland.
Yeah. When he goes in, tells Damon Wayans that's working the floor, gay waiter, he says, I need to let him know I had the test.
Okay, you're mixing up another scene. Damon Wayans actually played the banana guy.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, because it's later it's at the golf course, right?
The guy that I don't know who it is that does the maitre d' at the other place, but like he's like I'm here to see Mr. Maitland. Yes, I was out with the fellow last week, and I recently found out that I have a herpes simplex 10.
Herpes simplex 10.
I just want to let the man know before things start falling off on the man.
And now this guy was a great villain. He appeared in a lot of stuff.
Oh yeah.
I think one of his he was in Outland. He's in this, and what was another big one he was in? Crap. Because I know I remember him.
I swear he's in some Schwarzenegger film. I'm trying to think.
He was Stilgar in the second miniseries of Dune.
Yeah.
Steven
Burkoff's in the
his
TV
name.
version?
Yeah, he was Stilgar.
Oh.
And Children
in
of
the
Dune.
second one.
Oh yeah, he was in A Clockwork Orange as well, and Octopussy.
Wait a minute, he was in Clockwork Orange?
Yep.
What the heck was he in that?
I could have swore he was like a Schwarzenegger film or something. But
you lost an opportunity there. You should have. Get out of here.
Get the fuck out of here.
Get the fuck out of here. I love when he gets thrown out the window.
Getting busted for getting thrown out of a window? Oh, that's right. He was in Rambo. That's what I was thinking of. Part 2, First Blood. He's the bad guy in that.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, the Russian.
Who tortures Rambo, yeah. Got thrown out of a window.
Man, that guy's been around for a while.
I can describe all of them.
His career as an actor started in 1958 on working on TV. Wow.
You know, this is the nicest police car I've ever been in my life.
Yep, he
plays the piece. I got thrown out a window.
What's the charge for getting thrown out of a moving car? Jaywalking? This is bullshit.
He was the cop in Clockwork Orange. He played Detective Detective Constable Tom. Gosh,
no, it's not Belky in the herpes simplex 10 scene. That's later on. I know people get those all mixed up. I sadly know this movie by heart.
Yeah, he did Rambo First Blood Part 2 right after this one.
Yep. And I believe that the exteriors are the Beverly Hills Police Department, but the interiors are not. This is actually, I can't remember if it was some school or something else, but like, I'm sure it's somewheres. But...
Oh, he was also in that Gerry Anderson series, Space Precinct. That sci-fi series he did back in '94.
Cops at dorm. Well, and of course, this is the whole joke of the film too, is that Taggart and Rosewood are the misfits. I mean, that's not really shown off very well in the film, but like if you kind of like pay attention, like all the other cops are sexy and hot and good, and they do their job great and they're perfect.
They're the two out of sorts. That don't
they're the two exceptions. Yeah.
Oh, it looks like some more friends have dropped by. We got Zach's here. Parrot Head. Let's see. Shinatsky is here. Just Another Red Shirt. Read by Nature. Dragon Ruse. And of course, the Lovely Six is here. And our good friend Hex Allen Comics is here.
You know what's funny about Shakedown in the second film? It was written for Glenn Frey to sing, like he did with the first film. But he lost his voice. So they quickly brought in Bob Seger to record it instead. And it ended up becoming Bob Seger's only #1 hit. And this is not a rare occurrence either. Like Aerosmith, for instance, their only #1 hit was Don't Want to Miss a Thing. They had never had a #1 hit before that.
Oh, you need
like,
a good movie song and you've got a #1 hit?
Yep. You'd be surprised how often that happens. Yeah.
Man.
These guys struggle, get a #4, a #2 hit, never get a #1 hit, and then they'll do a song for a soundtrack. Yeah.
Now, I'll tell you, Ronnie Cox is a guy who's not very well known, but man, he's been in some great films. From Deliverance to this franchise, Total Recall, RoboCop.
I mean, probably one of the most steadiest straight men. I mean, he could do both, right? Like he can play
good guy, bad guy easily.
And he does both kind of in this movie here. That's what's funny. Is he, and that's why he's so perfect for this role, right? Same thing with RoboCop. Like those are two of his probably best roles. And then of course in Deliverance, he's kind of the morality of the group. I mean, I don't know if you guys have seen Deliverance anytime soon, but like, yeah, I mean, he's a great.
I saw it this year. I've seen it sometime between January and now. I've watched it one weekend. It's one of those films I just want to pop in every once in a while. Remember why it's such a classic.
Yeah, I just watched it last week, actually.
Yeah, it's just you did it the same reason, didn't you? Because I was just going to pop it in.
Part of it was because it's been a while since I watched it. I've been wanting to see it again. And it's one of those movies that sticks with you, and you do watch it every couple of years. But I also had just got done reading Tarantino's book Cinema Speculation, and he had a whole chapter on it. So I've been revisiting some of the movies he talks about in there that I've seen before, and some that I had never seen before. So yeah,
right. And I actually know why I watched it. Here's why: I was on a Ned Beatty kick because I was looking back at some of the films he did. And it started with a little bit part he did in a film called The Deadly Tower, which was the true story of the shooting at the Texas Tower in Austin at the University of Texas. And Ned Beatty plays the civilian who went up there to kill the sniper in real life. And so I watched that, and then I'm like, man, I forget how great Ned Beatty is. And then I go and I watch Superman. And I watched
I haven't given it to you yet.
Deliverance. Because those are three of my favorite films with Ned Beatty.
Mr. Luthor.
Otisville.
It's just a little bitty place. Otisburg.
That was
This
it.
Tismacher's got her own place. Right, I'll wipe it off. You know, it's funny though
more
about
footage
that
with him in Superman 2.
Yeah.
And if you watch the
Richard Donner cut,
the Donner cut, you get more Otis.
Yeah, a little bit more.
Just an FYI, we've only got 2 minutes till break.
Oh shit!
Okay.
I went by quick.
Real quick though, there's a Ronnie Cox connection with the whole Deliverance thing. He actually he was the first person cast in Deliverance, believe it or not.
Really?
They were trying to get Burt Reynolds.
There he is. There he is.
Signed on. There's Damon Wayans before he cut his hair. And Ronnie Cox was the first one cast. And he said, I know this guy to be perfect for the other role. Because they kind of cast them as couples. I know it's weird, but it's
I've heard that.
It is a weird gay. There is this whole subtext to the movie I'm not going to get into here.
Yep.
But it's there. Trust me. It's not like anybody's making this shit up. Because like you even have the scene where Burt Reynolds asks John Voight's character, why do you go out on these trips with me? You have a wife, you have you have a child, that kind of shit at home. That's kind of the whole point of that thing. Anyway, moving on, because he is kind of obsessed with Burt Reynolds' character.
He is.
And anyway, so like he goes, Ronnie's like, I know this guy that'd be perfect for this role. And he's like, it's this guy named Ned Beatty. And he got him the role because one night Ned was actually the star on the show they were doing. And Ronnie was his understudy. And Ned was nice enough to him one night. He's like, you want to go on tonight? Just let him do the show. Because, the understudy never gets to go on unless something happens to the lead.
That's right.
So he remembered that. And when he remembered that, he actually remembered those two kind of like, it was like a thing that they kind of got their careers started together. Yeah.
And Ned Beatty I've always heard good things about him. What a kind guy he is. I'm sorry, guys,
really
but we need
guy,
to go to commercial break. You want to pause the movie here, buddy? Bill, go ahead and take us to our 1 minute long break. We'll be right back. Hi, guys. This is Gerry from Pop Culture Minefield here on KGRA, and we're leaving for our first break. I hope we survive.
Did you know 75% of Americans are chronically dehydrated? If you struggle with focus, run low on energy, or when it's time to finally sleep, you simply can't, this can all be linked to dehydration, and Fuel Up has the answer. Our proprietary formula contains the finest cellular hydration with the strongest immune-enhancing natural ingredients. The Fuel Up system is made up of 3 different incredibly tasting varieties. Wake kickstarts your day with a jolt of caffeine. Play boosts focus while hydrating your cells. Rest not only helps you relax, but also rejuvenates your cells while you sleep. Here's what our clients have to say.
I really don't miss my coffee, and you can tell the difference.
So I'm going to take it for the energy. I'm going to take it for the play. I'm going to take it, all day.
And it works. That's the thing. It works. We love it.
Take the Fuel Up Challenge now, where we offer a Feel the Difference money-back guarantee. Fuel Up for life.
Hey members, the new KGRA DB app is now available on iOS and Android devices. Gain on-demand access to any KGRA DB programming. Download any show directly to your mobile device to listen or watch on the go. Go to the App Store and search KGRA DB.
Oh, wow. We survived. Welcome back to the commercial break. Now for some more Pop Culture Minefield on KGRA. And by the way, Tom, I've not introduced you to our radio audience.
Welcome to KGRA.
That's right. KGRA is we have a large audience over there that listen to the show because they're dedicated to the KGRA show streams. And this is Tom Connors from Midnight's Edge. Midnight's Edge is the illegitimate father of our show. Andre and Tom both gave their DNA to make our show.
I figure I got to tell people who are only listening. So.
Right. Well, Andre said, he says, I should have worn a condom.
I think he did say that, yeah.
He did. It cracked me up when he said it. But you guys really set the standard, in my opinion, for a lot of what we do. And between you and Gerry, Nerdrotic, and Doomcock, those are the 3 shows that Keith and I watched religiously before doing what we did.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I guess if anything, we prove that you don't have to be the best; you just have to be around the longest. I guess.
You just gotta stick around.
Yeah, so, like because
But I
we
do
are one
think
of
you
the
guys are really top line, because when
I
you do
appreciate
those
it.
videos with Andre, Tom, when you do those videos where they're like 10 to 15 minutes long, where you do breakdowns of how we got to this,
Well,
how
those are
this
kind of
happened.
our bread and butter. Yeah,
They
I
are,
mean,
and really, they're amazingly well done. So
well,
you
we kind of
guys,
always looked at ourselves as, I mean, the channel started out, I mean, obviously in Andre and Kevin's image, but when I was brought on, the whole idea was to make it more of kind of this mix between not just talk radio so much, but more of a video magazine is what
right?
our initial kind of plan was. We'd have interviews, we'd have stories, editorials. I mean, over time that has changed, and because of the culture and the things that have happened has changed. But no, there's still some core elements of what Midnight's Edge always has been. I think we've been able to maintain,
And should always be, in my opinion, because you are the pinnacle of opinion and analysis.
I
Uh,
appreciate it.
oh, you bet, man. And I'm so grateful to have you and Andre in both our lives. Well, in my life in particular, I'm going to be selfish and say my life. And you and I love having Mikey Sutton in my life. And we've been friends with that guy when nobody knew who the hell he was. Like, who's Mikey Sutton? Now look, he's got his own damn TV show coming out.
Yeah.
It's fun.
This is a great scene here with the the warehouse. Yeah. This guy even gave me a match. Did you give him a match?
And I look at that guy, and it is the dude. That's the guy who played in Bill and Ted's TV series.
It might be.
I think 100%. That's him. I'm going to go look. Who did the TV version?
I don't know. It barely lasted a season.
And we had to pay for your foreshadowing about the talking about the red meat in the gut.
I love that. Yeah. This is the bit where Martin Brest said that these two, there's tons, I guess, of just improvised material that never made it into the film with those two, but he loved it. He said that those two developed their relationship basically like a henpecked husband and the nagging wife. That's Taggart and Rosewood. Why do you think I'm have any interest in any of that? Well, you do eat a lot of red meat.
It was not Ray Sharkey. It's James Russo that played his best friend. He's still going. He is still kicking it as an actor, playing bad guys a lot. God, what a cast in this movie. I mean, you look at Jonathan Banks. He became a TV star.
No, sir, that's not my Porsche. I don't know whose it is. Then you got nothing to worry about.
Here again.
I noticed you were drinking
the face.
Well, I think that's why you have a hard time relaxing.
Oh my God, he is a wife.
He is, yeah. It's this. It's a great.
What do they call that? That's my job husband. Reinhold is his wife.
Well, we know who the bitch and the butch is here. That's for sure.
Without a doubt. And because I remember watching this with my dad, and my dad fell in love with Taggart. He's like, the guy was like, after.
Well, this is probably one of his best roles because normally, what's his face? I just forgot his name. The actor, the guy who plays Taggart. Jeez, I don't know why I just drew a blank. But anyway, usually he plays bad guys, right? He's usually like the antagonist.
John Ashton.
John Ashton thing. I knew it. I'm just like,
Yeah, it's one of those names that just pops out of your head.
And of course, Martin Brest used him again in his next, well, not his next, I think it was a film after, in Midnight Run. And he plays more of an antagonistic role in that one, too, yeah. It's like, normally I'm used to seeing John Ashton in more of the bad guy roles than I am the good guy roles.
And the actor, there he is. I found him. It's Rick Overton. was the manager in that warehouse.
Yes, 6, Martin Brest.
And Rick Overton probably is best known as one of the miniature creatures from Willow. The little guys, the two guys running around.
The brownies.
The brownies, thank you. But as I recall, he took over for the TV series of Bill and Ted. And I'm trying to find it.
Hey, Keto Simple is in the chat.
Dustin is here. What's up, buddy? Yeah, Rufus. He played him in the animated and the TV series, both. He took over for George Carlin. What was it? That question about Reinhold?
Yeah, Martin Brest, I wasn't wrong. His next movie he directed was Midnight Run.
No, that's actually a good movie, Read by Nature. Yeah, I know the one you're talking about.
Oh, yeah, I can't think of the name of it either. But yeah, Martin Brest had an interesting career. He started with Going in Style, the George Burns Art Carney film. Then he did Beverly Hills Cop a couple years later. Then a couple years after that, he did Midnight Run. Then a couple years after that, he did Scent of a... It's like he does a movie every 4 years. And then he did Scent of a Woman. Like, these are all big hits.
Specific bills.
Right? And then he did Meet Joe Black in 98. But then this is where things go off the rails. This was his last movie he ever directed in 2003. Geely. That's what happened to Martin Brest.
Terrible movie.
Yeah, that killed his career, evidently. He has not directed a film since.
Oh, yeah, that's a bad movie, too. Yeah.
But at one time, like, this guy was, like, he couldn't miss.
I think I got about 20 minutes into it before I shut it off.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I can imagine.
I was just looking because I cannot remember what movie it was I saw at the theater with The Shadow, and it was mistaken. I mistook it for Vice Versa, and it's not. And it might be one of the what is his name? The Two Coreys, one of their films.
Oh, it wasn't Dream a Little
where
Dream.
They switch. Maybe? I think that was it, where they switch places or something. And I think that's
Dream a Little Dream.
Dream a Little Dream.
And it's actually not those two that switch places. It's just Corey Feldman, I think, that switches places with some old guy.
Yeah.
And the other Corey just plays his friend, but yeah, it
he
is
plays his best friend. Yep.
Yeah.
But I think that was the movie I had in my head. For some reason,
that's probably more accurate. I think that's like 92. So probably
it's right in that area. Oh yeah, this scene.
Yeah. Phil, what's wrong, man? What's with all the hostility? I knew that was you. I'm surprised you got away without showing any of the boobies. Here's another scene that has a totally, like I said, almost every scene is different from in the TV version. But
I owe that to Martine. Martine deleted a lot of shots.
The Nasty Girl song.
He cleaned it up.
She explained to me, you and Rosewurst. This is the scene I was talking about at the beginning where he had the coffee. And it's like 3 a.m. These guys are not regular cops.
And they had to pinch themselves to keep from laughing.
Yeah. Well, this was a technique Judge did anyway. I don't know what John did, but Judge was like, yeah, if you see my hands are in my pants, he's like, I'm pinching my thigh. He's like, it's a trick and technique I learned, from working on stage. He said, if you can't stop laughing or something's distracting you, if you pinch yourself, it'll keep you on point. So he's like, I'm pinching myself so hard through this whole scene in the couple takes they did. That he's like, by the time I got home and took my pants off for the night, I had a big old bruise on my thigh. Just because Eddie just had him rolling. Like he couldn't stop. Because you could look how tired he is, but he's just wired.
Yeah, I've hit that point so many times. I don't know about you, where it's like I'm exhausted, I want to pass out, and then I like take
Look.
something with a lot of caffeine, and
Look at this moment. Taggart is clearly laughing.
Yeah, he's laughing there. He's laughing.
Yeah, John's losing it there. That's like a Carol Burnett moment when like Tim Conway
they just their face down and pretend like they're annoyed, but they're laughing.
What's his face? Tim Conway and God dang it,
Harvey Korman.
Harvey Korman used to have a thing where they would try to crack each other up all the time. And probably the most famous ones is the dentist one.
The dentist one.
Because Harvey could not stop laughing. And yes, that's what it reminds me of, exactly.
The funny part of that is that he would rehearse one way, and then when they would do the live show, he would do something else that Harvey wasn't expecting.
The other big one I know that cracked most of them up, of course, was the Gone with the Wind segment. When she come out with the dress, I guess, was...
It's just, it was made from a curtain rod. It's still
there was a line she had. It was, can't remember exactly how it goes. It was just, this is just something I had hanging around or something.
Yeah,
whatever.
Around.
It was an improv line, and I think Harvey lost it because he was playing. He was playing Rhett or whatever. But like, yeah. But anyway, yeah. So I can imagine the outtakes of this film that were on the cutting room floor.
That's something they should have like 5 hours of additional material on a special edition of this, where it's just all the outtakes, just hours of outtakes. That would be awesome.
And then you got the replacements.
You're not going to put a hand out my tailpipe.
These guys are, of course, good looking and mostly capable cops. They keep up with him longer than Taggart and Rosewood did, but he likes Taggart and Rosewood. That's the difference.
Yep. He's built a bond with these guys. And I think that's one of the things that makes this film so good is all the characters are so likable in their roles, including the villains are likable as villains. You want to see them punished. That's how good of actors they are.
A stakeout? No, man, this is like a picnic. This is the other good line. This was improvised too, because they did 2 normal shots, and Martin's like, this is kind of boring, Eddie. Just, you're just rolling up here, and he takes the car. Can you come up with something? He's like, all right, I got it. So the next tape, he comes up and he goes, can you practice somewhere different? Last time, all this shit happened last time I was here.
Here's the scene. Here's the scene.
Yes.
I need to tell him some information.
Are you sure it's Victor Maitland you want? Yes. Gray-haired gentleman, very dark skin, Capricorn.
The maitre d' is like, oh.
Okay, I guess I can do that. Ramon, that's a fella he met about a week ago.
I went to the clinic today. Oh,
and I have herpes simplex 10.
Face up to meat.
Poor thing stop falling off on the man. I think maybe it's best if you tell him. Maybe that's best.
Oh my God, this scene. Yeah, I think it's best.
So do I.
Oh, this is great. Puts him through the ice sculpture.
Is this the man that wrecked the buffet club today at the Beverly Hills? He can hear you. That's cool. I'll do all talking.
God. He plays such a good villain in this. He has that look.
Well, and this is Axel trying to make him make a mistake, right?
Right.
That's what this is really all about. He's trying to get him to mess up somehow, but
Maitland is too.
Victor's good.
He's a
cold.
calm character. Look at the way he's looking at him there. I love that. Your little stone under your stone in Detroit. And here come the Hollywood cops again. And he knows what to do.
He just stands up with his hands behind his back.
His hands behind his back. I know. Catch you later, Vic.
We gotta stop meeting like this, Detective Paul. It's becoming very irritating.
And the thing I gotta say, going to school with here's the guy's name. Judge Reinhold was my only one real memory of him is what I told you, what he said to those girls in drama class or theater is what it was. And he really called these girls out for going out with jocks. But the guy was affable. It's always affable, just always likable. I didn't even know him that well. I just knew him in school.
Yeah.
Senior,
I dig this scene because, I love that Ronnie just gives him the benefit of the doubt. It's like he's got like a gut instinct with him, right? This kid's a cop.
When you get down to it, Ronnie Cox's character is a good cop.
That's what I'm saying. Like, he clearly knows that there's something here, right? Like, he can't imagine this guy driving all the way down from Detroit just to start some shit and get arrested 12 times.
Right.
So he's like, come clean with me. What is this all about?
Yeah, at least he got him on his side at finally.
Well, at least that he somewhat believes him.
Yeah.
Everything except for the drugs.
Yeah, you mentioned that before. What's with the coffee grounds?
Covers up the sense of the drugs from the dogs.
And that's what Ronnie says. That's what I love is that they're on the same wavelength there. So, yeah.
Well, that went quick. I was reading that and it just skipped through.
Oh, it's skipping through, yeah.
Yeah, but I'm sorry, I have to.
Oh, you're doing that. Okay. I was afraid there's something that went wrong with you're skipping forward. Gotcha.
Yeah, so.
How much time is left in it?
We're getting into the third act here.
Yeah. I think I can let it go.
Okay.
I was say, I think it's kickoff of the third act.
Because one thing that's good here is we got all the subtitles from the film in it. So it's easy to follow this scene. Oh, this guy, yeah.
Is this the man that wrecked the buffet table? I bet no the pride of
he crashed through Maitland's window. And it seems to me this film established one thing that was used in a lot of films is the final showdown at the boss's house, at the bad guy's house. Because I don't recall that being used before this movie.
Not too often that I can think of, no. No, and also another thing about Ronnie that needs to be mentioned here is at this period of time, these were always usually the yelling chiefs.
Right.
Guys,
Starsky and Hutch, all of that. And his boss in Detroit.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, usually they're that stereotype, and then you come out here, and that was kind of the whole point of this, though, is that, Beverly Hills Police Department run like a well-oiled machine, and they were all prim and proper and all that business. Yeah. Of course, this was a bit before LA got the
bad reputation. Yeah. During the Rodney King shit. But, got to be honest, Los Angeles had a bad reputation all the way back to the beginning. All the way up into the 40s, early 50s, they were thought of as corrupt. And it wasn't until we started seeing some of the changes that they were making and the bringing forth of the, what is that? We have to read them their rights, their Miranda rights. We started seeing changes in Los Angeles law enforcement. Beverly Hills is just its own place, man. And if you've ever been to Beverly Hills, you'll know what we're talking about.
Well, isn't it basically a bunch of posh
It's all posh.
That's what I was saying, and that's kind of the whole point of like the police department is not so much a joke, but I mean they basically cater to a very upper class set of folks. Is my point. Yeah.
Well, it's sort of like, look, when I went to Eastern Illinois University, and I got arrested for a fight I was in, we got put. There's state police that run the campus police department. Okay. But it's not real jail. It's like a conference room with like carpeting and everything. And that's what I feel like Beverly Hills Police Department is like, carpeted cells, shit like that. Yeah, this is one bad thing, because once they know who he is and who he's connected to, anybody that knows him is now in danger.
Yeah. Well, the only thing that probably keeps her alive. She in the? I was gonna say she's not in any.
I was
of the
asking, did she come back?
No,
I don't remember.
That I know of. No, which is sad, but no, yeah, she never made another appearance. But like I was just gonna say, if she was a guy, she'd probably be dead now. Probably the only reason she's still alive is she's a woman.
Yeah. They're less likely to kill her immediately.
Well, and again, like it feels like there's a lot of things and it's not necessary for the film. But I mean, there's just a lot of like little character elements here and there that probably play into this that like I'm sure he has some designs on her, and stuff like that. But yeah,
forget it, Shin, it's Chinatown.
Yeah, forget it, Shinowski, it's Chinatown.
No, it's on my list too, Shinatsky, to do here. I don't know if you'll do that one with me, Tom.
Maybe.
Fact, before
I don't know that one nearly as well as this, but yeah.
Before we end the show, we should decide what we'll do on the next one that you jump in on with me.
Well, and that'd be what, 2 weeks from now, we figured?
Mm-hmm. The following weekend. We're sharing you with Salty Nerds.
The shared custody deal.
Shared custody deal.
Right, I'll do what I can, yeah.
And the custody is yours because we're your kids, so you do visitation with us every other week. Holy shit!
Well, next week's Jeff Bridges. After that's the two Blade Runners.
Yeah, because I really want to go over his career. I can bump those though, dude. I can change the dates at times. So I'll be doing that with Tom because it's whatever Tom wants to cover that we'll do on his weekends. Our weekends with Tom. I swear to God, it really does sound like visitation.
Well, I usually only have every other weekend as it is, so like I got to try and finagle both of y'all in the same day. Because otherwise, every other weekend I'm off doing stuff for the house.
And we love the guys over at Salty. Matt's one of my friends.
I don't get a lot of days off. Saturday's technically like my only day I'm generally off. But then
I don't want this to ever feel like you have to work. This is us hanging out talking about a movie that we love. And that's why I want to make sure we pick movies that you want to talk about.
All I was supposed to do was drive you to the airport. I'm going to screw that up too.
Poor Billy.
Jesus Christ, Billy. That's what I love about the second one. When he gets all those guns and stuff, and everybody's like, Jesus, Bill. Yay!
It's always the quiet ones, though, dude.
Huh.
It's always the quiet ones.
Don't be ridiculous.
So John is ultra dangerous.
Or no, don't be stupid. That's what it says.
Anima says, like Don and I have shared custody over Gerry.
I'm just the guy that's here and nobody knows why.
We know why you're here, John.
Well, comments like that.
Yep, little comments like that, or the occasional pearls of wisdom that you'll throw out. That's like, an hour and a half of show, and then all of a sudden you'll just pipe up having said nothing the previous hour and a half, and it'll be like, holy shit. Thank you, John. It's your dismounting comment. Dismount.
We'll argue on the way. Typical woman. Like this. You hear windows breaking and shit? Don't worry, it's just me. Well, that was in the other one, yeah. That was the earlier part, yeah.
And where's Taggart at?
He's just not there because
he's just not there.
he was sent to start checking out the Victor Maitland thing, and then Billy was supposed to be taking him to the airport. But then they all meet up here eventually, yeah. But this is kind of where him and Billy kind of have a little extra. Of course, at this time, your buddy Judge, was probably one of the more well-known members of the cast. So
it's so weird. Like I told you, the big breakthrough moment wasn't Fast Time at Ridgemont High, but him and W.K. Stratton, both guys that went to our high school on Magnum P.I., the pilot. And they were even on screen together.
I just watched that last week, yeah.
They both play. One plays security. He's low ranking sailor, and the other one plays one of the main characters in the story. WK plays the guy that Magnum keeps going to for information.
This ain't sugar.
Oh, dang it. Bad guys with guns.
All the bad guys with guns.
I always thought it looked so weird, that big bump on his forehead. And he has one of the best death scenes in Outland. He's overdosed, but he's not going to die from the overdose. He's going to die from Crooked Cop, who shoots him. And here he just plays an amazing villain. And I got to tell you, of all the villains from the 80s movies, he's one of the most memorable.
Jenny, don't worry about me. We got cocaine and coffee here.
Yeah, don't worry about coffee. You got cocaine.
We're going to get wide-eyed and have a party.
I'm all ears.
Well, 'cause you still pissed at me.
It's really weird. We're still just watching this in silence.
Well, it's a good movie. This is like the most intense scene of the film, yeah.
Draws you back in, even though you've seen it a bunch of times.
I know. I'm like sitting there just reading, like, oh, God, this is a good scene.
Then Billy sees him.
He's giving him the look.
Taggart is here now. Billy, where the hell are you?
Ooh.
Sorry, Sarge, I can't talk now. What do you mean you can't talk now? It's Billy. Doing something dumb again. 6, you've never seen this and you're watching us watch this like this. Oh. This is a classic.
I know I'm sorry, 6. It's funny. We're really getting caught up in the movie again, just watching the silent version slideshow.
Yeah.
Okay. Now they're all getting on board.
This is where
This is a shootout. Yeah.
We have officially moved into the third act.
Oh yeah, we've been in the third act, like I said.
Yeah, it's like really the big transition is when they arrive at that facility. They're just at where
at the warehouse. Yeah.
What are you doing? I'm trying to pick this lock.
We'll have a search warrant in 20 minutes.
She'll be dead in 20 minutes. You want to stop me? Shoot me.
Me too.
I guess the concept of exigent circumstance wasn't a thing back then.
What was that?
Extenuating circumstances?
No, exigent. This is what it's called now.
Yeah, technically, Judge seeing her being hauled away would be enough to really for him to act. But him acting alone is the problem. See, he had to wait for some backup. Yeah, I like this shit. Wait a minute. Goes and gets the shotgun.
Classic 12 gauge pump.
Never leave home without it.
Foley is on the grounds.
Ah, man. Shinatsky says the manse has been used in quite a few films.
Oh, yeah. Not surprised. Dr. Maitland.
Oh, yeah. Well, 6. we'll try not to get too distracted by the movie. Because she's only listening.
Now, I will tell you what you were talking about earlier, Tom, is true that Jonathan Banks worked in both the CIA and Naval Intelligence.
That's what I thought, yeah.
Yeah. He worked he was very much a clerical person, but he worked with the CIA.
Yeah, but he got started because he was consulting on some movie. I can't remember which one it was, and he did a bit part, and then just the rest is history from there, you know, kind of like Arlie Emery kind of a thing.
Hey,
Arlie.
Wasn't it the mansion from Commando?
Possibly.
That could be it. I will look it up right now. Shooting locations.
And that's the moment. The captain just said, well, let's do this.
Undercover officer. This is the best part because this is where Ronnie sets up his lie later on. And it's brilliant. You were lying your ass off. Oh, this is my other favorite. Freeze, everybody, you're under arrest. Billy, you ever do that again, I'll shoot you myself. Eddie's one of those actors who can't shoot without blinking. I don't know if you guys have ever noticed that.
There's some actors that just cannot get that trained out of them. It's frustrating.
Well, at least he didn't got PTSD.
You know what this reminds me of? The end of Butch Cassidy. You get out of this alive, I'm going to kill you.
Yeah. He's saying that with that smile and
I'm going to make you pay for this. That's what... I know I have 37 parts of this movie. I know it's an amazing movie, 6.
This mansion, the exterior was used for Adventures of Buckaroo Banzai, Dynasty, Mannix, SWAT. But no, it was not used in Commando. Now I'll go to the interior because it's a different place for the interior.
Which is usually the case.
So let's see what that one. That was used in Beverly Hills Cop, House of the Damned, The Cat Creature. What? It's a weird one. TV movie from 33. That's it. So not Commando.
This is where Axel gets shot. Victor's got a big gun.
And what do we have here?
The only thing that really dates this movie badly is her hair.
Yeah.
It's
such an 80s hairstyle.
And she has said stuff about it because, like, obviously the look was made because she was supposed to be, you know, it's a Sylvester Stallone 80s flick. So, yeah. So she said something about if she changed anything, it would have been her hair or something like that.
I love this. Just shoot the fucking shit out of him.
Well, what's even better is Ronnie's backing him up.
Yep.
At least you're all under arrest.
Got holding the badge up with one hand. Boy, those Beverly Hill Cops look really good with their guns. Smile on Judge's face.
This is where he comes up with his lie, yeah. What is this man doing here? Bleeding, sir.
Here we go. This is where he lays it out.
You have a report that explains all this.
And here begins the shitload.
Well, he's pieced the truth out. And he has to understand what's really going on in order to make up this bullshit story. It's great.
Well, and the beauty, like I said, is he believed Axel's story to begin with, and if he didn't have all that info, exactly, yeah. That's what makes it all work. This is the biggest bit of bullshit here.
You're right here. With cooperation of the Detroit Police Department.
Well, and the key is, of course, Jenny, right? Like they use her as the connective tissue, but yeah. Because it only works if she shows them, lets them in, because they didn't have a warrant. That was the whole thing, yeah.
Yep.
Well, the guy is quick on his feet.
I love the reaction at the end of this.
No, but as far as like
believe that report,
yeah, that's the report I'm filing. That's what I love about this film, because, you know, a lot of these movies, you know, cops get away with so much shit they never would. But this movie is very by the book in a lot of ways. I mean, even the stuff that Axel's getting away with is one thing, but, you know, he's just barely getting away with it. He keeps getting arrested. I mean, he was arrested, what, 3 times in the movie?
I guess congratulations, you're in order. Because Taggart backed him up.
Happened just like he said. You will line your ass off.
Uh-oh, yeah. Soften things up with my commanding officer.
I think your favors are all used up.
I'm out of the job. It's cool.
I think I'm going to stay in Beverly Hills. I like it here.
I'll talk to your commanding officer. Just to get rid of you.
6 hopes we do this with Jaws. Probably that would be one of my next choices. Probably.
Oh, Jaws is a good one.
There's the director.
Oh shit! Is that him?
Yeah, that's Martin Brest.
No kidding. You made sure you got out of town.
Here, you keep it. I already got 3 of them in my bag.
Yeah, the Beverly Hills department's picking it up.
Expensive ass robes. Yeah, he moved up to Detroit, had to deal with Axel's shit, so that's enough. We're building a new city.
And I agree, E. Clay Thompson, we should do, you and I should do RoboCop too.
Oh yeah, RoboCop's amazing.
Absolute.
I'm here for both those movies, so
I'm going to set those up for our next 2 shows, RoboCop and Jaws. And Ghostbusters too. Set up 3. So that'll be our next 3 weekends together. We'll do those. Sound good to you?
Sure.
Well, Axel
So
F.
he
is
did. Oh, I'm sorry. What, Martin?
No, I was talking here. The Peter Bergman fan says she likes how Axel F gets as much play as Green Onion. And it's because Axel F is such a relaxing bopping song.
Peter Griffin's version is really good too.
it's one of the songs I used to be able to play on my old Casio keyboard.
I got to tell you,
it's a song everybody learns first. Yeah.
I hate saying this. Rocket Man was the first thing I learned on piano, but the third thing I learned on piano was Axel F. Because I was a drummer, but I was like always fiddling around a keyboard, and I heard that Axel F, and I'm like, "Fuck yeah, that's cool. That's cool too." One drink's not going to kill us.
Yeah, one drink's not going to kill you. Lighten up. Trust me.
That's it.
Oh, you cut off the trust me.
I didn't.
I
guess it must have done on its own. That sucks. That was
Actually,
great.
you've stolen this house. How the fuck do you steal a house? It's my uncle's house.
Fun. That's fun, dude.
We got to do part 2 eventually too.
I'll set that up. I'll plan out all of our stuff around for at least summer. I'll get all our summer shows planned out.
Well, we've already got Saturday shows until July, and when we push back another 4, that's going to push us into August.
All the way into August, yeah. Because that's 5 movies right there just with you, Tom. That's going to be fun. I think next one we do, let's skip RoboCop, go straight for Jaws next time. I think it'll be fun. I haven't talked about that movie seriously in a long time. And man, I'm going to get Mac. I got to introduce Mac to you because Mac, that's his movie, Jaws. It's like his favorite and fondest memories with his dad is watching that damn movie every 4th of July since he was a little boy. And there's so many things about that movie that a lot of people don't know, because like if you've read the book, you know the differences.
Yeah.
But some of the differences took place because of shit that happened in the movie while making it. Like the reason why Neary doesn't die isn't because he's so likable. A lot of people made that mistake. No, it's because the cage got destroyed and you could see it was getting destroyed and the diver got away. And so Spielberg had to figure out, well, I guess we just have to have Neary survive and hide. And he shot that.
Hooper, you mean?
Yeah.
What did I say?
Neary.
Now, who is Neary? Why am I getting that name in there?
No idea.
I was confused. I was like,
hold on. I know what that is.
What?
I need to check. Okay, I got to check what his name was in Close Encounters, because that might be where I'm getting that from.
Oh, yeah, that might be his name.
It is Roy Neary.
Yeah. Yep.
I confuse Hooper and Neary all the time.
Now you said that.
Dreyfus.
Yeah.
I'm like, there's a reason that just happened. And now I know. Oh, man. Let's see. I expect you to point out all the differences because I'm not reading the book. Eclay, I'm sorry, dude. There will be a test at the end of the film, so you need to read the book, or at least the Dummy's Guide to Reading the Book. Or Idiot's Guide, whatever they call that.
The two big major differences between Jaws the movie and Jaws the book is in Jaws the book,
it is
the wife has an affair with Hooper.
Yeah, Hooper
and
is
there's
the
a
big
lot
difference.
of stuff going on in the background with the mob, and that's why the mayor can't shut the town
Which
down.
is still
it's not so much that
also
he
in the
doesn't
next
want
book.
to. It's just that he can't because he has to pay back the mob all this money he owes them.
Yep, because that's a continued story within the book of Jaws 2. In the novelization, is the mob's involvement with that town. And it's not in either film. And I always thought that was interesting that it's in the books, but not in the films. Jaws, the book, pisses you off? Why? I'm not going to wait for the answer because I know it'll take too long, but
I'm actually one of those people that thinks that
the book is no. I'm right there with you.
The movie is better than the movie.
You and I agree 100%. The book is good, but it's nowhere near as good as the film.
Yeah,
it's one of the few times that's correct.
Now, here's something that a lot of people don't know: is that Spielberg was supervised during the shooting of that film by Zanuck and Brown. Zanuck and Brown were on the set almost every day. And I would like to say every day, but I actually know that they weren't there every day. But their job was to make sure that Spielberg was wrangled, that he shot the film exactly the way it was supposed to be shot. And they were there for a lot of the troubles that they had with Bruce the shark. And they're part of the deciding process of how to survive mechanical failure of the shark. And it all worked out. It really did. I still consider it visually one of the best films from the 70s that stands up to today, except for one thing, and it's the jowls of the shark's face are wrong. And it's something that my eye goes to immediately every time I see it. And I've always said, if there was one thing that Spielberg should have fixed with CG, was the jawline right here around the corners of the mouth on the shark. So it didn't have that fold. It had that weird fold that looked weird. But good God, what a classic film. And Beverly Hills Cop, man. That hit. How old were you in 84?
Oh, me? I was only 4 years old. I didn't see the movie till it came to video. I've told the story before, but the short version is my dad used to work for a company that put in they owned gas stations, and they would rent movies out. So a lot of the employees, when they would get the movies like a week or so before they would have street dates,
right,
they would just let the employees take them home. So I'm sure that's when I saw it. Would have been whenever it came out in 1985 on video first time. Surprisingly, my parents actually let me watch it at that young of an age.
Yeah,
well, it's really not a naughty film.
No, it's got a lot of language and
there's some
boobies,
but
titties in that one scene.
But yeah, compared to some stuff in that era, it's not nearly that bad. No, and the F words were a lot. That was heavy.
Yeah, but I don't know. I mean, were you raised in one of those households? Because there was a lot of cussing around me as a kid. So that was
not so much my parents, but like my parents were like it's really cool because, like I said, I've been just reading. I just got done reading Tarantino's Cinema Speculation here, and like his mom's mentality to him watching movies when he was younger, it was similar to my folks. Because he said in there, it's like it didn't bother her when he would watch movies as a young kid, like going to the theater and seeing R-rated films, as long as that the violence had context to it. Right. And that's the thing. My parents didn't mind so much me seeing like violence and certain other things like that. It was usually sex because they were trying to like stop me from seeing so much. But like, yeah, because my parents, we watched Rambo and they sat down and we talked a little bit about, my dad's experience of Vietnam and stuff like that before the movie. And same thing with when we watched Platoon and some other stuff that I saw as a young kid. So, I mean, yeah, I saw some pretty intense shit as a young kid. So I can relate in that respect. But I mean, it also was partially context because when I was really young, Gremlins freaked me out. And because of that, I did see earlier than this. And basically from there, it just started that my mom had to teach me what movies were all about. And when I knew that, it was kind of like, whatever, I knew they were all pretend. Right. And so we went to the library to seek out a making of book. She was hoping to find like the making of Gremlins, but we couldn't find it. So we found the next best thing. And that was the making of Star Wars. And I'm sure many of you have seen that famous blue covered young reader's storybook called The Making of Star Wars. And a fan actually sent that to me last year. And it was really kind of weird because I don't even think I told that story at that point. But but I have that book. And then the next one I think was The Making of Superman. And I think they had one that was like the making of, I think it was Star Trek, either the motion picture or Wrath of Khan or something like that at that time.
And I think I remember the books you're talking about.
Yeah, they're just like young reader books that were like really straightforward. But that's all I needed to kind of go, okay, it's just make believe and special effects, explain to me how those worked. And so by the time I was 5-6 years old, I already kind of knew how movies were made. So my folks kind of let me watch just about anything.
Yeah, I had the advantage of having my own VCR in my room from 13 on.
Yeah.
So
my reaction wasn't to the phone ringing, but that you had a VCR in your room.
I did too, but it was a little later, about that same time. Yeah,
big giant top loading ones.
The dinosaur, right?
It was the one that they had in the living room. I got, and it sat on top of my TV, and it was bigger than my TV.
Well, those beasts were beasts, like they were tanks, man.
And I had my headphones plugged into the headphone jack because my TV had a headphone jack. And
that's nice.
So I could watch whatever I want. My parents never paid any attention because I was in my room being quiet. So needless to say, I'm watching all these violent movies, and that's how I turned out.
Yeah, I mean, my parents didn't really have an issue until I started getting into horror films. Like when I started getting into horror films, that's when my mom got a little worried, but she would really heavily monitor what I would watch. And then I think she kind of got sucked into some of them herself. Because it was funny because, like, she watched like the first couple Friday the 13th and Chucky movies and stuff like that with me. And she'd be like, whatever after that. She kind of knew what they were. But for some reason, she would not let me watch the Nightmare on Elm Street movies without her. And I could tell she got sucked into them. Yeah.
I get it.
And I knew it for a fact because I busted her one day. I come up in the living room at the house we were living in at the time. And this is probably, I was in high school still. And they just started showing New Nightmare on TNT. And I caught her watching it. I'm like, busted. She's like, what? I'm like, I knew you liked those and you lied to me. She's like, no, I don't. I'm like, well, you're watching New Nightmare. She's like, well, this one's a little different. It's pretty good. But no, she was busted.
Yeah. Well, see, they thought I was renting stuff like Godzilla and cartoons and stuff. And I was, but I was also renting in, stuff like this movie and stuff. Because the video store I went to didn't pay attention to ratings. I mean, they didn't care who rented what. As long as you stayed out of the back section.
Well, yeah, like we were lucky that it was more of a podunk town. So like As long as you had your parents' permission, they didn't give a shit. Yeah.
Dude, I just once saw a copy of Team America in the kids section.
What?
Somebody made a mistake.
Yeah. Especially with the unrated one with the pooping on. Where they use pudding. My first VCR was in 85. And it was sat on top of our console TV. Both were RCA. And I worked at J.C. Penney's in the photography department, so I had a discount on buying that stuff. And it was awesome, man. I got my first, and it was a top loader, you know, because you know what they were. They were beasts back in the 80s.
Yeah.
But we only had one video store in town. We had a laser disc store on one side of town, and then we had a VHS family operated video store. And that was like one of the most amazing things. And the first film I remember seeing was Blade Runner when it opened. They got it, and I'm like, I gotta watch that again. Next one I watched was Alien. And
my parents did not have any problem with me. I mean, they let me watch Alien back in the front room when it first came out. They didn't have any problem with me watching Alien. It's like, even though it was an R-rated movie, they were like, what, 12 years old when it finally came to video or something.
Yeah, it's a monster movie, so
that was the closer stuff to horror that my parents didn't really mind so much, like Alien.
Well, we need to wrap.
Yep. Oh, all right. Last one is I wanted to say about was with this film is Eddie Murphy's career once it took off. I think Beverly Hills Cop 2 was not very good. And I'm not sure why. It might have been Brigitte Nelson.
I like it.
Because she's one of the villains, as I recall.
Tony Scott directed it, too. Most people forget that.
Yeah, Tony directed it. It had that look to it, too. He brought that
I
to
like
the game.
the look of the second film. It's very slick.
It was, to me, it was more of a straightforward action. It was more of an action film than it was
more straightforward action, but there's some really good bits in it. I still think we should do it.
No, we're going to do it. That's going to be, we're going to do Jaws next, RoboCop, and then we'll do Beverly Hills Cop 2 and 3. We'll just do them in that order. I think it'll be fun. I appreciate it, Tom. Thanks a lot, man. It's fun hanging out with you.
It was fun. It's a good show.
And we'll talk a little bit more after the show, but I want to thank everybody for being here today. Have a great freaking weekend. Thanks a lot, Brandon, Anima Confusa, Monkey Jeebus, Penny Pat, S, Slasher Fred, Veritex, E. Clay Thomason, Andy Morrow, Parrothead, Zax, Shinatsky, Just Another Red Shirt, Read by Nation, Dragon Ruse, Six, Sagacious 6, Jedi 6, Hex Allen Comics, Keto Simple, the Peter Vickman's Girl, Real Sean Cummel was here. Oh, nice. Jeff was here, Real Wade Nation. And that's it, guys. Thanks for being here, man. It was fun hanging out and talking Beverly Hills Cop. Bye.
Those sons of bitches.
Ma, I'm doing a show.